That one.
Oh, yeah. Says we got one person watching so far.
Oh, yeah? That's us. It's us watching ourselves.
Yeah, we're up to 3.
3? All right.
Yeah, well, I just logged in on the... Brit's watching.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Patrick's watching. Robinson.
Oh, hey, Patrick. What's up? Brian's watching. Kevin Griffin. Look at them. We're up to 20. Look at that. What's up? Jack Garrett is watching. Hey, Jack. What's up? You're watching.
Yeah, on my phone because I'm ready to share it. How else am I supposed to share it?
Happy Easter to you too, Pat. Salvetti. Yeah, you too, Brian. It's hot down here. Denmark, cool. Oh, you're welcome. Helen Harlack, that's cool. Hey, Lance, what's up? Ed. Can you open that window over there? Hey, Shannon, what's up, bud? Hey, Mike, how you doing? John Harlack's mom is watching.
Oh.
Yeah.
Helen. Cool.
Yeah. Sitting at the Vice. Okay.
Oh, so Mrs. Harlack, what about your adopted son? I saw you brought food up to the biological one. I'm wondering what happened.
Hey, John.
She brought him up a full Easter spread today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I got nothing.
You got press cookies.
Yeah, for Christmas. Hey, Jock. Hey, Sean. Final 4, baby. Michael Thomas. Hey, Mike. Mike Hawkins just said hi to you.
What's up, Mike?
He doesn't want you to feel left out, I guess. Oh, Brandon Creepo. Happy Easter from quarantine in Michigan. Yeah. Final 4, Jock. Sun Tao. Hey, son, what's up, man? Kitchener, Ontario. Kitchener, they got a hell of a minor league hockey team. It's where Mike Richards, the Kitchener Rangers, I believe. Love Tyler. Mike Hawkins, love Tyler. Good afternoon. It's night here, brother. Well, just about night.
It's 5 o'clock out there.
Yeah.
It's a 2-hour time difference. All right, it's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock? All right.
Calgary Flames rule.
Who said that?
Colin.
Oh, yeah, well. I don't know about that. Fred Joseph, yep. Utah. Hey, Terry. What time is it?
7.
7, all right. Keep up the
New
good work,
Brunswick.
boys. New Brunswick, nice.
Yeah, I'm going to miss landlocked salmon this year.
Maybe.
Yeah, really.
Maybe.
If they open it up, we might be able to go up there.
Bob Larson over 100, yeah.
Yeah, we're up to 126.
All right, we'll get started. We'll get started. I haven't even tied yet. All right. Hey, guys, how you doing? I was going to start this out tonight by saying, hey, all you cool cats and kittens, but Tyler said I can't do that, so I won't say, hey, all you cool cats and kittens tonight. So if you guys have watched the documentary, you'll know what it means.
I'm going to feed you to a tiger.
Oh, man. So, yeah, Chris, I only wear glasses when I tie, but I'm trying. Hey, Mark. Yeah, Doc Mark is here. Good, you found us. Now, Chris, I do only wear when I tie, but I got a whiteboard over here that I'm reading, so I need them to see. So, hey, guys, how you doing? Happy Easter. Glad that you're all here with us today. We're up to 153 right now. That's pretty good. So it's Sunday at 7. We're logged on here again. These Facebook Lives have been fantastic, even during the broadcast, and then after the fact, we get a lot of follow-up questions and a lot of follow-up, people texting.
Joe Exotic for the win.
Joe Exotic for the win. There you go.
Terry goes, you might not financially recover from saying that.
That's good. That's good. So apparently we're not the only one that'll watch Tiger King. So
there's nothing else to do.
we got to hurry up and get done because there's a new one that they released tonight. So I got to get upstairs and watch it. But anyhow, it's Sunday at 7. We're glad you guys are joining us. We hope you all had a happy Easter. We got a very nice surprise from the Miller family. Great big and I'm going to say it right. You got to say it with the Southern accent. It's called a wine cake. And Duke, if you keep calling it a rum cake, you're not going to get any more of them. So it's a wine cake.
We'll just have her send us 2.
And we'll have your cake sent to us. So hey, Mike, what's up? So hope you all had a good Easter. Tyler and I tried to get out on the water today, and people are taking full advantage of the get outside and do fresh air things. We stopped at
half a dozen different spots,
and 30-some years of fishing the rivers around here, around home, and I have never seen that amount of people on them. It was just insane. And it's good that people are getting out, and we're glad that people are getting out and enjoying the resource. But, man, there's a lot of people out. So
don't enjoy it when I want to enjoy it.
Yeah. Hopefully, watched it today, crazy Mike Hawkins. Hopefully we'll get back to normal here. And things will go back and everybody can go back to work. Fortunately for us, Tyler and I are both considered essential, so we've been going to work every day. But it's an eerie feeling driving to work in the morning, and even today out driving around in the morning, and there's just nobody out and about. And I guess that's what they tell us we have to do to, kind of nip this thing in the bud, or at least get it under control. So it's a good thing, but it's just, hard to be in this position. But we're here. We're going to keep bringing these lives to you. So fire away with the questions, and we'll get them answered. And like I said last time, as we're talking, these questions are popping up, and Tyler does a really good job of feeding the questions to me so I can answer them. If we miss one, just resend it, and we'll get to it. If we miss it during the live, I go back and I read through all the comments and everything, and I do my best to answer every one.
And just a note, it's 7:04 Eastern Time. If you are watching this, and it is any time other than 7:04 Eastern Time, this is no longer live. I'm not ignoring your question. You're watching a recording of the video afterwards. We did good. So we didn't have any of that.
Yeah, we didn't have any of that.
So let's see if we can keep consistent. The first couple of weeks,
and like I said last week, the one time I kind of got upset with Tyler, and I was like, why aren't you, I'm reading this, why aren't you feeding me these questions? And he said, Dad, look at the time. And they were coming in at like 9:30, and we had been off the air for an hour and a half. So, hey, Carl, what's up? So, the Final Four, the March Madness, this last round or series of flies, without a doubt, were the best flies of the bunch. And we made it dry flies for this for the 8 going into the 4 round, and the 8 flies that were submitted were fantastic. And one of them, the ant, and I think it was Terry Landry who submitted the black ant. That fly, just that picture, got over 400 likes. It was like 420 some likes. And that particular post, just that one post with his fly and Braden's fly on it, had over 35,000 engagements. So those impressions. Are impressions.
Engagements
impressions
means people got to like it. That's not
impressions, right? So those are fantastic numbers, and it's good that people have that avenue and have something to go and do while they're quarantined and sitting at home. And these live casts are good as well. And it's funny, we went back and we were looking at the numbers for the one that we did last week, and our highest concentration of viewers, which surprised me, was in Scotland, believe it or not. And I absolutely would have thought that would have been in the United States, but it was in Scotland. So we're getting all around the globe, so that's really good. So here's the bracket for the next round. And Lance, I know your name's spelled wrong.
Back.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't have wide view. It needs to be closer.
Oh, it needs to be back? Yeah. Okay, like this?
Yeah,
okay.
And then to your left a little.
Like that?
Halfway back. There.
Okay. So this is the final 4, and it's Lance Keckel and Jock Scott on the left side of the bracket, and then Sean Crow and Terry Landry on the right side of the bracket. And Lance, I know your name's misspelled. I'm working on that. Chris, if you could hop on there real quick and correct that and then send it to me. This is posted up on the homepage of the website right now. I put it up there yesterday afternoon, and as soon as we get the spelling mistake corrected, we'll get the new one up. So yeah, Lance is going against Jock, and then Sean is going against Terry. And this round, and I saved this for the final 4 because I really, really wanted to do this as a fly type, but I didn't want to do it until we got down to the later rounds. It is poppers or bass bugs. And I figured if I was going to have people mad at me for picking a certain type of fly, I would rather have 4 people mad than 32. So that's kind of why I saved it to the end. But I really want to see some cool poppers. Basically, the stipulation is that it has to, and I had to kind of amend this because as soon as I put it out, I started getting questions. It has to float on the surface, and it has to either chug or pop water or wake water. So it can be a deer hair style popper. It can be a popper with a foam head like the Flyman, what do you call them? Double barrel heads, or the howitzer heads. It could be a slider. It could be really anything that's designed for taking bass on top water. And the 4 tires that are in it are some of the best that I've seen. And Sean Crow knocked off 2 of my favorites. And the one guy that I picked to win, and like I said last week, we didn't know all the tires, but of the tires that we knew, on the right side, it was on the right side, there were 2 tires, Tom Weir and Shannon Messer. And I thought both of those guys would go far. And they did, but Sean knocked out both of those 2. And then on the left side, I really thought Kevin Griffin had a good shot to win it, and he did. And he was knocked out last week. So we've got 4 really, really good tires. They're going to be tying bass bugs. The fly pictures, 1 in process and then 1 of your completed fly with the vise, are due to Chris by 7 a.m. on Wednesday. And we're going to post them on Wednesday night. I should have them up there around 6 o'clock or so my time, and we'll run the voting from the time they go up until 7 o'clock the next day. It's only 2 games, so I'll put both of them up at the same time. And, you guys be watching the Norvise Facebook and on Wednesday, and you can vote on them. All right?
So, we got the question if we're going to have these competitions frequently. It looks like it may be a once-a-year thing, like actual March Madness. We're not going to have this 3-4 times a year. This bracket, no.
this style with the brackets, and it's basically modeled off the NCAA tournament. We will do it again. We'll do it next year. I've already got some ideas. We're going to have a full field of 64 tires in it, so it'll be 64-32, 16-8-4, and the championship. So it'll be just like the NCAA tournament. We are going to do some other fun tying contests and things to keep you guys busy and keep you guys involved. The next one is probably that we're going to do is probably going to be revolving around smallmouth flies, and I've got a pretty cool idea that we're working the details out. So we will be doing things, but the bracket style that we're doing here for the March Madness will be once a year. All right.
All right, we're down from 140 to 96. It's time
to
tie a fly.
All right, we're going to tie a fly. So it's funny, when I'm talking, I can see the people kind of dropping out and leaving, and then when I'm tying, I can see them go. Back up. So we're going to tie. I've got 3 flies tonight that I'm going to tie. First one's going to be a Perdigone, if I said that right, style nymph. Very, very simple tie. You want to move the camera?
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, we're going to reposition the camera. Get it up closer so you can see. That's pretty good. Okay. Simple tie. These are all 3 going to be on jig hooks. I do a lot of in and around tying on the vise. So until I get to bigger sizes, as far as my nymphs go, like 14s and bigger, I don't really go crazy with the detail on it, because I don't really think that it's necessary. So this one has 2 materials. Okay, what makes this fly unique? This is a Semperfli material. It's called iridescent thread, and this particular color is rainbow.
So you can see that really well.
You can see. Okay, good. I'm glad that you can see it. So it's basically a thread that is a bunch of different colors, and as you pull it out, it kind of changes colors, and it gives you really, really cool looking body for your nymph. So very simple. I'm just going to tie this on. This is a size 12 jig style hook. So we've got a slotted tungsten bead on here. And the tail, and we played around with a few things, and this was actually Tyler's idea. The tail
I have good ideas.
Is UV crystal flash. So I'm just going to pull 2 strands out.
Jake's watching.
Jake.
Jordan.
Oh, hey, Jake, what's up? I'm thinking Jake Powell, Jake.
Jake's been cooking some good food.
Yeah. I'm coming down with you, Jake.
Yeah, really.
All right, so I doubled it over. So 2 became 4, then I doubled it again and cut it in half. So now I've got 4 strands here, and I'm going to fold those in. So I'm just going to take it around the thread. I'm going to fold them in, and I'm going to bring it right up on top of the hook, and I'm just going to get up here. And I'm just going to wrap this back.
Jake goes, "Happy Easter, getting fat."
Yeah.
Hey, Jake, does an Albie trip include a home-cooked meal afterwards?
Right. All right, so I've got my crystal flash in for my tail. Now I'm just going to come in here, and I'm going to cut it about, I don't know, 1/4 inch, maybe 3/16 of an inch or so. Just one cut.
You missed a strand.
I did miss a strand, yep.
Bodkin.
Yeah, it got down there in between my jaws on me. There he is. Okay, so there's the tail, and now all I'm going to do is take this thread, and I'm going to use the vise to build my taper. So I'm going to spin the vise and just work the thread up and down the body, and it's kind of cool because you can see how that body is changing colors. And there you go. That's it. Now I'm going to whip it.
You can see the colors really well on the whip finish.
Okay, cool. Hey, I'm tying and we're back up to 142. That's
I told
crazy.
you.
All right, now the whole premise behind these type of flies are typically they'll be very heavy, and they're meant to sink very quickly. If you're doing a Euro style nymphing and you have a real short shoot with a real heavy flow, you'll put on one or two of these, and there's generally minimal material on the body. They're generally not buggy like a lot of our nymphs are. They're usually kind of hard and smooth. We're going to coat this off with some Solarez. This is the thin hard.
What's going on, Mark? Mark Stover said hi to me.
Oh, hey, Mark. And this is another cool thing that we can do about the vise. I'm just going to put some of this on, and you'll see, guys, when they're using the these acrylic, light cured acrylics, that after this step, they'll take their bodkin and they'll kind of smooth it all around. Well, what we do here at Norvise is just take the vise and just slowly, I'm not going crazy, but I'm just kind of slowly rotating the vise. And what that does is it'll take that acrylic, and it will distribute it all around the body of the fly. And then when I'm ready, and don't look at this, just hit it with the light.
It's fine on the video.
And there you go. Now the outside of that thing is hard as a rock. It's smooth, it's slick, it's heavy.
It has no drag.
No drag whatsoever.
What UV do we like best?
What UV? By far Solarez. No, absolutely. That is...
You weren't in the frame.
I wasn't in the frame?
Further, like closer to the tip of the jaws.
Okay, how about that? There you go. Solarez. By far. I've used a bunch of these light cured epoxies. Some are definitely better than others. Across the board, all of the Solarez products, the thin, the bone dry, the thick, the hard hull, they're fantastic. They cure quickly, they cure hard, and I've never had a problem with anything as far as Solarez goes, and that's what we use 100%. I don't use any of the other ones anymore, and that's what we're happy with. So that's what we use.
Terry said his aunt was made out of Solarez.
Oh, there you go. So if you go and look, and it's funny because Uncle Pat was asking about that, and he's like, "How did he make that?" My brother, and my brother's not a fly tyer, and I said it's epoxy, and he's like, "Epoxy? What do you mean epoxy?" And that's so it was one of the it was probably this one in the black color. So that's our Perdigone. It's a new fly for us. Doesn't have a name yet. We have caught fish on it. I haven't caught a ton of fish on it yet because we haven't really been fishing, but it serves its purpose. So questions on that, and I will. John Lupinetti, and I'll move on to the next thing. So we're going to do something. Oh, he said blue thin for the body on the ant. Okay. So we're going to do something here each week. I am going to ask a question at some point during this live stream, and whoever texts in or messages in, I should say, and answers the question correctly first, we're going to send you a Nor-vise t-shirt. So it's just a fun thing that we're doing, I guess, to kind of make sure you guys are paying attention.
Comment on here first.
Comment on the live feed. Yes, absolutely, on the live feed.
So,
okay.
And ambassadors and team guys are exempt from this.
Oh, yeah, you guys get enough
t-shirts. You guys
t-shirts.
get free t-shirts and stuff anyway. I'm not giving you another one.
Yeah. So, all right. So, ways to stay in touch. Our blog is up and active. I put a good post up there this week about a magazine article that we had in Fish Alaska magazine. Good article about Norm and kind of about the history, and then a little bit about the transition of Norm to us. So Australia, cool. So it's up there, and I'm going to be updating the blog once a week. Our new YouTube channel, and when you go to this, it is capital NOR-VISE. So make sure it's the new one. So if you're on the one with the videos of Norm, that is the old one, and we're not going to be using that one anymore. Now, all of the videos from the old YouTube are up on the website. So all of the videos of Norm showing how to use the vise and set it up in the bobbin and all that, they're all up on the web page. Go on the home page, click on the videos tab. there's a drop down, and there's about 60 videos up there. The new YouTube channel there's a lot of these, because after the live stream we put it up on the YouTube, and we're putting some tying videos up there as well. So that's active. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and click to subscribe, and every time we put something up there, you're going to get a ping on your phone that there's a new video.
So we got questions about what the rainbow thread was and where you can find it.
Okay, it's a Semper Fly product. It's called iridescent thread, and this particular one is called rainbow. The color is called rainbow. They have half a dozen different
blue,
colors. Yeah,
gold, green,
and we didn't know. We really had no idea what it was, and when we were looking through the catalog, and there's a kind of a shot of it again. When we were looking through the catalog, and we saw it, and we're like, that looks pretty cool. So we bought just a spool of it to see what it was about. And as soon as we put it on the spool, I was like, I know what I'm going to do with this. And I mean, it's just awesome. And you can dub on it. You can do the dubbing that we do on the Vice. So it's a cool product.
As far as where to get it, any of your Semper Fly dealers, I don't know anywhere specific. I know Jay Stockard carries a lot of Semper Fly stuff, so if you head to the website, they may have it. If not, Gary Barnes is a distributor for the U.S., so he'll be able to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Their threads, we've been using their thread pretty much exclusively since the beginning of show season. I've been tying a lot on, they call it the 8/0 Classic, and it's just awesome. And it's thin. It's the diameter of 8/0. It is definitely not the breaking strength of 8/0. So the blog is up and active. The YouTube channel, we're putting at least a video up a week. And then the picture sharing page for that's up on the website. We reactivated it for April. So if you guys have a picture that you want to show off, send it in. Use the link through the website to send the pictures in. Please don't email them directly to me because they get lost in the mix. But send me a picture. We'll put it up on the site, and at the end of the month, the ambassadors vote on what is their favorite picture, and then that person wins a prize from Norvise. So there's a lot of ways to stay in touch, a lot of ways to kind of keep your wits about you, so to speak, if you're stuck at home and you can't leave. So so the blog, the YouTube, and the picture sharing page. So
yeah, and Terry got a lot more people watching from New Brunswick.
From New Brunswick, yes, he did. So cool. All right, we're going to tie fly number 2. We're actually going to do 3 flies tonight. This one,
are you going to ask your question?
I will when I start on this fly. Okay. Just relax. I've done this before. It's not my first rodeo.
He says that his second rodeo.
Yeah, right.
That's me walking up to my second rodeo ever.
All right, so this next one.
Yeah, Sean, I agree. The 12/0, and when you get in their nano silk, the 18/0 stronger than like typical 6/0, and there's no bulk at all. It's just a little slick if you want to try doing the dubbing and everything.
Yeah, I haven't tied a lot with the real small stuff, the nano silks, the 12s, and it goes to 18, right?
18, yeah.
I personally haven't. I know a lot of Son is watching. He ties Sun Tao. He ties a lot with that nano silk.
He also ties a lot of stuff smaller than we tie.
Yeah, I know Dave Allison. He ties a lot with the nano silk. So it's good stuff. I personally, we bought a bunch of the classic 8/0, and that's what I've been tying with. All right, so we're going to reposition the camera again. So this is a fly, and this is absolutely one of my go-tos.
Braden finally showed up.
Hey, Braden, did you fish today? This is one of my go-tos. That Rainbow Warrior that we did a couple weeks ago is a go-to, as is this, which is a Frenchie. And a Frenchie is basically a version of the pheasant tail. So here's the question for your t-shirt. Give me, and I'll accept the last name only, give me the last name of the guy that invented the pheasant tail nymph. Send that question or send that answer in, and we'll get a t-shirt out to you. So we've got our jig hook in here. I'm going to go with, believe it or not, Semper Fly, Classic 8/0. This is in bright orange. And basically, a Frenchie is a stripped-down version of the pheasant tail. Okay, so I'm going to get this on. We're going to lay some thread down to the back.
There's no responses yet. There's people Googling.
They're Googling it. I know. You type in Google right now, who tied the pheasant tail nymph, and it'll be the first thing that pops up. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put my rib in. So this is small copper wire. And when you put your rib in, tie the rib on the side of the hook facing you. And that I'll show you why we do that here in a second. So I'm going to tie, actually I went too far back with my thread base. You only want to go about halfway back. I'm going to tie my rib in, and it wants to walk around on me. There we go. And I want that rib on the side of the hook facing me. Okay. Now, I'm going to grab a little bit of tailing material. This is a Cocktail feather. This is light pardro or light speckled, whatever they call it. And we're going to rip a handful of fibers off of this. I'm not going to count them, but I'm going to estimate about, I don't know, 8 or so. Okay, that's going to be my tail. Tail I want to be about the length of the shank of the hook, which is about right there.
We went from 95 back up to 130 when we started tying again.
I'm not going to talk anymore at all. I'm just going to tie the whole time. All right, so we're going to put the tail. I'm going to put it at a 45-degree angle. I'm going to do a soft wrap to lash it down. I'm going to do a medium wrap and then a hard wrap. And that will walk that tail right up on top of the hook. Okay? Put a couple wraps here. Now I'm going to lift these butt sections up. Clip them off. Cover this up. Okay, now got a really good pheasant tail here. So I'm going to pull off.
Braden said he tied orders all day.
He tied orders? Well, good. You wanted to be a fly tyer. All right.
So how full is that tacky box?
Yeah, right.
Or are we talking you can't close the lid? I'm just curious.
All right. So there's my pheasant tail that I'm going to use for the body. Now I'm going to show you 2 ways to tie this fly. This is the conventional way, and then I'll show you a speed way to tie it. I'm going to clip these butt sections off. I'm going to tie it in, and I'm going to wrap back to my tie-in point. Back up to the front, half hitch it, and I'm going to go on my cradle. And I'm going to take my hackle pliers, give this a little twist just to keep it together, and then I'm just going to work this material up the body of the fly all the way up to the bead. Okay, now I'm going to tie this off. So with my auto bobbin, boom, I'm right back in and ready to tie. I'm not winding slack. I'll go 3 behind, 3 in front, and come in here with my fine point scissors, and I'm going to clip this off. Okay. Now,
Casey goes, hate to bust your bubble, but that tacky box is at the bottom of his list.
Is that right?
He's already catching fish on flies we send in. How does that work?
Citation fall fish. Did anybody know
the big minnow
that there was a such thing as a citation fall fish? So, okay. So we've got our tail on. We've got our body on. Now, remember earlier I told you to tie the rib on the side of the hook facing you. This is why. When we wrap the body, we wrap over the shank of the hook. Okay? When we wrap the rib, in order for strength, we counter wrap or we wrap under the hook. So the body material goes over, the rib goes under. And basically what that does is it gives you kind of a crosshatch pattern of your body material and your rib, and it makes it stronger. Okay, this is why you tie it on the side of the hook facing you. If you tie it on the top, or if you tie it on the side of the hook facing away from you, when you wrap this wire, the pressure on your first wrap is coming right down on the top of your tail. And how many times have you been wrapping a tailed nymph, and your wire, when you pull it tight, it takes the tail and it walks it on one side or the other? Okay? This is why you want it tied on the side of the hook facing you. Because when I rotate this, as you see, the tension of my first wrap is on the underside of the hook shank. It's not on the tail of the fly. Okay? And I can set my angle, and I can just take and wrap that rib right up the body. And if you do it that way, it won't walk the tail of the fly to one side or the other. Now, the reality is, if your tail walks to one side of the hook or the other, put it in your box and fish it. It's going to fish fine. But when you're looking in your box and you have 8 of them that the tails are perfectly on top and then one that it's rolled over to the side, it's probably going to upset you. But I've got my rib on. Auto bobbing them right back in and ready to tie. I'm going to do 3 behind.
So we have a winner for the shirt, by the way.
Oh, who was it?
It was Chip Hildebrand.
Okay, and the answer was?
Frank Sawyer.
There you go. Very good, Chip.
So message us on the Norvise page with your address and T-shirt size, and we'll get one out to you.
We'll get one out to you this week. All right, so I tied the wire off. I helicoptered the wire so I broke it. I put a half hitch in my thread, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on the cradle, and I'm going to do my collar. One of my favorites right here, hot orange laser dub. We're going to tease out a little bit. We do not need much. It's very easy to overdress this. Get in there. There you go. Very, very little bit of dubbing. I'm going to spin the vise. Touch the dubbing to the thread. Dubbing jumps out of my fingers right up onto the thread. Okay, now I'm going to pinch it here. I'm going to spin the vise. I'm going to tighten it up. You can see what it does right in this area. I'm going to come underneath, take the bobbin off the cradle, and I'm going to work my collar right up on there, and I'm going to go right into my whip finish. It's so simple of a pattern. I like the hot orange. That's probably my favorite. There's a whole bunch of different variations on this. I saw this week on Facebook, it may have even been Rich Strollis. He did what he called a Hendrickson Frenchie, and it had the backside was, the pheasant tail, and it had light pink Hendrickson dubbing up here. That was kind of a cool pattern.
Hey guys, I'm getting a lot of comments saying that you answered before Mike did. I'm not seeing them. They're not coming up. So what I'll have to do is at the end of this, because it's not letting me go through right now, I'll go through and I'll message the person that was the first one to pop up and say Frank Sawyer, and we'll go at it from there. The only person that I'm seeing that said Frank Sawyer is Chip.
So we'll get it sorted out. So I like the hot orange. That's my favorite. We do them in chartreuse. Yellow is kind of cool. The pale pink one is a cool one. But this fly kind of replaced the regular pheasant tail for me. This one here, now this is on a size 12 jig hook. I will typically, for our waters, I will tie this particular fly in a smaller size. It will typically be on a 14 or smaller. I do it in the 12 so that you can see it. That thing's really out of focus, Tyler.
Oh, I was focused on the dubbing and then...
Okay. Cool shirt. So, but this is one of my go-tos, typically in a 14 or a 16. Now, that was the quote-unquote standard version of it. Now I'll show you the speed version. And let me get this thread in, or get this hook in the vise here. It's kind of tough with the camera because what I use to line the hook up is kind of locked, but I'll get it here. Okay. There we go. All right, so that was the, for lack of a better term, traditional version. This is what I call the speed version, and this is how I tie most of mine. I'm a firm believer that it shouldn't take you longer to tie a fly than the average life cycle of the fly, and nymphs a lot of times don't last very long.
Wire?
Don't use wire in this. Now, if you're going to do this, you have to have a good pheasant tail. You have to have long fibers on your pheasant tail. The little short ones aren't going to do it.
Your left.
Okay, you have to have a good tail with long fibers on it. Little short fibers are not going to cut it, okay? So I'm going to take this. I'm going to take it off the feather. Okay, now, instead of clipping the tips off, I'm going to use the tips as the tail. Okay, so I'm going to measure this. There's my tail length. And I'm going to tie it on the same way. Get this back to the end of the fly. And I'm going to do a soft wrap, a medium wrap, and a hard wrap. Okay, so now there's my tail. I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it back. And I got to get that thread to catch. All right, right there. Wrap up, half hitch it, go on the cradle.
Mike Hawkins asked if you got a manicure.
No, why?
Well, he can't, Mike. Everything's shut down.
Yeah. Twist it up. I don't, when I'm doing the speed version, I don't use wire. I will typically, if you're doing this right, you will generally lose these before you have to worry about the body coming apart.
Bob Larcell says he's a machinist. He uses a belt sander.
Oh, yeah.
Put him in a tumbler for a little bit to come out pretty clean.
Clip that off. Half hitch. And I'll do this one. We'll use the fluorescent chartreuse laser dub. Pull a little bit out. Spin the vise, touch the dubbing to the thread. Spin it up. Come off the cradle. Probably should have switched to chartreuse thread. All right, and then we'll go right into our whip finish. It's funny, that orange thread makes that chartreuse look more yellow than chartreuse, so I probably should have switched threads, but you get the idea. So there's where you can use the pheasant material as your tail as well as your body. Okay, and on the speed tie, I don't put the copper wire on it. If you're nymphing properly, you're going to lose this fly long before you have to worry about that body coming apart. And if I was doing this without talking, I can do that fly in probably about a minute and a half. So there's two versions of the Frenchie. All right, let me get a drink here. It's a little dry. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about with all of this COVID-19 and stay in place, order, shelter in place, and all that, I think we're going to be in this a bit longer than what we first anticipated. And as a result of that, we've really been kind of toying around and kind of deciding if we wanted to do this. And we decided this week that we were going to take the plunge. And we're basically setting up a home video recording studio here at the house. And we have invested a lot of money in camera equipment and lighting and green screens and so forth and so on for us to be able to do this. And the main thing that it's going to do, we're going to have multiple cameras set up. So when I go from tying to talking, Tyler won't have to move the camera back and forth. We can just toggle between two, or I'm actually thinking about having 3 different cameras set up. So the cameras that we bought for the close-up work, you literally, if I was tying a size 16, you literally can see the individual thread wraps on the fly. So it's going to give you guys a lot better experience when we're tying, and it's going to allow us to produce some better videos. So the other thing that we're thinking about with this is there is a platform out there that's called Zoom, and it's the platform that all of the kids are doing their homeschooling on. And it basically was it was designed to do conferences, sales conferences, or meetings and so forth with big companies, and they can get people from all over the world, literally, and they can sign in on their computers or their tablets or your phone, and you can watch and be a part of this. And what I'm thinking of offering a series of virtual fly tying classes. Okay, so for instance, we get this thing up and we get it running, and the first one that I'm thinking of is a trout nymphing class. So we would basically start with leader construction, how to tie what is, in my opinion, a proper trout leader. I have a bunch of presentations that I do at clubs for this stuff, so I have slides that I can show you the knots and the different lengths of materials and where to put your sighter and all that. Show you how to rig it, and then we would tie some flies that would go on the different parts of the rig and explain why the soft hackle goes here and why the anchor fly goes here and why the point fly goes here and so forth. And I'm thinking this would be like a once a week for maybe 6 weeks kind of thing. And we would tie, we would talk, we would discuss, and it would be a pay, per class. So if we can get 25 people that would pay for this class, 25 people would log on to Zoom. You would get a login and a password and sign in, and then it would be literally as if I was giving a fly tying class, but you could be in Oregon or England or Australia or wherever. So it's a way for us to bring the company to more people. So we're in the very early stages of that. I would love to hear your feedback on it. I would love to hear if you guys would be interested in something like that, and just your thoughts on it. So, maybe a little bit later, message me or send me an email or send Tyler an email or whatever, and just let us know what your thoughts are. Like I said, we've invested a fair amount of money in this. And it's to give you guys a better experience. We have people all the time who are, turn the camera sideways. Well, use portrait mode, use this. Well, if you've done any of these Facebook Lives, you will quickly understand that you're kind of limited as to what you can do. And basically the view that you see now with the camera vertical, that's all we can do. It won't recognize portrait mode. You can't turn it sideways. So we're kind of limited, and as much as I do like this, I want to give you guys a better experience. So we can run the weekly ones off of the Zoom, and we can do the more detailed, and these would be all my patterns that I have developed, or patterns that I have tweaked, for lack of a better term, in these classes. So let me know what you think about that. There's a lot of likes that are going across the page now, so I think it would be something that would be cool to do.
We got a question. How do you hold the thread on the bobbin when you're not tying? So show me the caps. All
right. So there's my bobbin. It's under tension. Okay. You can see it's retracting. I'm palming the spool right now. If I let go of the spool, it's going to suck the thread down the tube. So if this is the bobbin that I'm tying with, you'll see me, and I'll put it right over here on the thread post, and it'll hang, and it's fine. If I'm not tying with it, I take this silicone cap that comes with the bobbin, and you slide it over top, and what it does, it's a soft silicone, so it pinches the thread in between the cap and the ceramic tube, so I can let go of the spool, and it stays tensioned. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 8 bobbins sitting over here with various different threads on them. And that's actually light because I don't have them all out right now because we haven't unpacked.
Half of them are at my house.
Yeah. So, but I'll just leave them here, and whatever thread I need, boom, I'll pick it up and go. So yeah, to answer your question, it's these little pink caps, and that allows you to keep the tension on your bobbin. It's a good question. All right. Anything else, or do you want to get into the next fly? Everybody's going to get into the next fly.
Yeah. You said get in the next fly, jumped 5 people.
Okay. Yeah, see, this we won't have to do anymore. We can just toggle with a button in between the wide view camera and the close view or the detailed camera, and it'll be a better overall experience, I think.
We got a question of, do we sell the caps separately?
We do not sell them, but if you send me your address, I would imagine that in a couple days, some will magically appear in your mailbox.
She's angled up.
Is it up? Yeah. It's what I use to line up with the camera is blocking it, which is fine. There we go.
That looks better. I'm all zoomed in over
Much
here.
better,
I can
yeah.
see it pretty good.
Yeah, it's what I use the backside of the base to help me line it up, and it is unfortunately blocked by the camera tripod. So, okay, last fly. Another one of my go-tos. I'm going to stick with the same thread. This is the Semperfli Classic 8/0. I'm going to tie on, and I'm going to get, this one does have a rib, so I'm going to come back here.
Michael Collier asked, what's the toy army guy for?
Oh, okay. Good question. So, a lot of you guys have saw me post, and I don't know if he's watching now or not, because I think it might be nighttime over there. Very, very good friend of mine, Nor-vise Ambassador Sean Rakes, is deployed over in Kuwait. And when he left, we had a, I don't know if you want to call it a going away party, but we all got together. It was about, I don't know, 50 or 60 of us. Had a big surprise party for him and a dinner. And at that dinner, they gave away, they had a whole bowl of these little green toy army men.
Higher and closer to the hook.
Of these little green army men that we all played with when we were kids. And it was a cool idea, and the idea was everybody was to take one, and they were supposed to put it somewhere where they would see it. And every time you see it, you think about Sean and you send him a positive thought. So this thing has been on my tying bench, and he kind of, moves around from place to place. So I put him right there this week, hoping that somebody would ask me what it was for, and that's what it's for. So it's a way to recognize my buddy Sean and all of the guys and girls who are over there who are sacrificing and keeping us safe. So
we got
that's what he's there
questions.
For. Okay.
So, what size beads are you using?
They are
5/32.
I believe they're 5/32 slotted tungsten bead, and this is a size 14. It's a fire hole 513 jig hook, I believe it is. Okay. What you said there were a couple.
Will we be using the tube fly anytime?
Yes. We have a whole list of different things that people have asked us to use. One of the good ones was the Nor-vise maintenance, and we'll do that one. I really want to do that one, but I want to do it when we're through the March Madness, because as we've said, when I'm talking, the viewers go down, and when I'm tying, they go up. So I'm trying to do like one or two talking points, and that Nor-vise maintenance would be a whole live feed. We're going to do that. We're going to do the tube fly. We had a great suggestion about using wire, showing how to wrap the wire, which we're going to do that. And by all means, if you guys have a suggestion, please send them to me, and we'll put them on the list, and systematically we'll go down and we'll hit them once a week. And again, I've got 2 more of these. I'm going to stick doing the feeds until March Madness is done. And then I think Brittany, one of the ambassadors, is doing the first one. That will be somebody other than me. And then I believe Braden is doing the next one, and I don't know what they're going to do.
All right, so we got how much does the vise cost?
The vise is just the straight vise is $395. This is the legacy vise with the stainless steel hardware. It goes for $500.
So, and then repeat the hook.
Okay, this is and I've been tying on the same hook. It's a size 12 fire hole. I believe it is a 5/16 jig hook. Let me look, because I want to give you the right information.
The maintenance required to the bob and clutch. No, just make sure if you're using wax thread that you keep wax out of the tube, because we get a fair amount that people go and send them back thinking that it's not retracting, and they're just completely clogged up with wax instead. And then you clean the wax out, and then the thing's good to go. So that's the only maintenance I can offer for the bobbin.
Okay, so I can't find the pack. I believe it is a Firehole 516. It's the standard Firehole jig hook, and it's a size 12. And then this is a 5/32 slotted tungsten bead. All right, so I've got my rib on. I've tied my rib on the near side of the hook. I've got my Coq de Leon tailing material. Just like the pheasant tail, we're going to measure it up about the length of the hook shank. And we're going to do a soft wrap, medium wrap, and a hard wrap. And that will walk the tail right up on top. I'm going to clip these butt sections off. Okay, I'm going to half hitch it. I'm going to go on my cradle. Now this is Hare's Ear #1. This is from Nature Spirit. This is a great pack of dubbing. There's not a lot of mats in it. It's chopped up fine, but there's some good guard hairs in it. Really, really happy with this stuff.
What's the best way to clean wax out of the bobbin tube?
You can use, if you can find it, you can use isopropyl alcohol. That will dissolve it. They do make it's called a micro pipe cleaner, and you can get them at like CVS or Walgreens. Make sure you don't get the one with the little metal pieces in it. Make sure you get the one that is just the pipe cleaner, and you can run that down through, and that'll clean it out for you. All right, so I got a little dubbing here. I'm going to tease it out. Okay, I'm going to activate the rotary function of the vise. I'm going to spin the vise. I'm going to touch the dubbing to the thread. It's going to jump out of my fingers and right up onto the thread. Now I'm going to take, it's a little heavy there. I'm going to pull a little bit of that out, pull a little bit of that out, and put that on up here. I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to spin the vise. I'm going to tighten it up. See how it tightens that down, and it makes those guard hairs pop. Now I'm going to come off of my cradle. Dubbing got wrapped around the bead. I'm going to work my way to the back of the hook. And now I'm going to start working my way forward. This is going to build the taper for me. Putting wraps right next to one another.
Yeah, I was going to say your bead's not all the way up.
No, it's not. There it goes. Okay. I'm going to put a half hitch in it. Okay, now I'm going to wrap this. So there's my rib. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to helicopter this off. All right, so we've got our body, we've got our tail, and we've got our rib. Now, I've got a prepped partridge feather here.
Is that out of the good cape?
Yeah, I think so.
If not, it's going to break on you.
I think so. Yeah, it's a little long. Maybe it's not out of the good cape.
Do you put the slot towards the hook eye? No. It's when you put the beads onto the hook, you still put the small side on first. The slot is what lets it go up around the 60-degree bend in the jig hook.
Okay, so there's my prepped partridge feather. Okay, so I'm going to tie it in by the tip. Actually, clip that off. Tie it in by the tip. I'm going to half hitch it. That's what you got to watch. Sometimes that slot will grab your thread. Okay. And I want to grab this stem with my hackle pliers. That is a little stem to be grabbing a hold of. Okay, and then I'm going to carefully, very carefully, until you get a wrap on here. This thing is very fragile. You don't want a lot. You don't want to go crazy with it. About 3 wraps.
Hey, Ed Levine's. Ed's Fly Shop.
Oh, hey, Ed, what's up?
I hope I said his name right. Levines, maybe.
Levines, sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. This thing is looking like crazy. All right, this is being a...
You're looking for your other hackle pliers?
Other hackle pliers, yeah. All right, let's see if I can get these to work. It's the stem is so small, it's pulling the stem out of my pliers. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to stroke those back. Now with my auto bobbin, which is giving me a problem. There we go. I'm going to go right back in. Okay, so there's my collar.
Oh, Ed said he's enjoying the tying every week. Thank you, we appreciate it.
All right, now I'm going to go back on. Just a little bit of dubbing to fill in that space. When you wrap your collar, you want to wrap it back so that you want your hackle standing up almost perpendicular to the shank of the hook. Spin the vise, touch the dubbing to the thread. That should be enough. I'm going to tighten it up. Then I'm going to come off my cradle. Fill in the spot. And now if you want, you can stroke all this back and I can put a little hot spot on there with my thread, like so. And
you keep knocking little Sean over.
Yeah. Well, he's normally not there, but I put him there because I wanted somebody to ask the question. Especially on a holiday, we need to remember the people that are away from their families and are sacrificing to keep us safe. So there you go. So there is what's called the Guide's Choice Hare's Ear. So it's basically a hare's ear body with a soft hackle collar. Great fly, very versatile. One of my favorites. So we did the Perdigone, we did the 2 Frenchies, and we did the hare's ear, the Guide's Choice hare's ear. So that's about it for tonight. If you guys have any questions, we'll hang out here for a little while. By all means, ask away. We talked about the March Madness. The next round is going to be bass bugs or poppers or bass bug type poppers. We tied the 3 flies. The t-shirt contest we're going to get sorted out here when we sign off. Remember our blog, the blog is active. I just put a great post up there this week about the magazine article we were in. Trying to put content up there once a week. The YouTube capital NOR-VISE, and that's the new YouTube channel. And then the picture sharing pages, use the link from the website, send me some of your pictures, and we'll get them posted up. We talked about our new video studio that we're setting up. I really want to hear your thoughts on the virtual fly tying class, and then we tied some flies. So that's our recap. If you have any questions, like I said, fire away. We'll hang out here for a few more minutes and answer anything that you have.
So, got a question. If you don't use head cement,
depends on the fly. Again, if I'm tying nymphs, the average lifespan of a nymph is about 10 minutes, and I don't think that you should put more time into tying a fly than you're going to put into fishing it. So I trust my knots. I typically do 2 3-turn whip finishes. So on my nymphs, I don't use head cement. So, streamers, I do. Dry flies, I do, depending on the pattern. Nymphs, very rarely do I.
Do we know how many Nor-vises are out there?
Oh, God. No, I honestly have no idea. I know the amount that we have sold since we've taken over the country, which was 2 years ago. I know that for the first 1,000 that Norm made, they were serialized. So it started at 0001 and went up to 1,000. I have been working with Norm for 15 years. We've owned the company now for 2. I have yet to see one of the serialized vices. So that just gives you an indication of how many of them are up there. We have one version of every vice that he's made. I'm looking at them now. They're kind of around the outside here of the tying area. None of them have a serial number on it. So unfortunately, no, I had no idea how many are out there.
So where's the blog at?
The blog is on the website. Go to the homepage. In the upper right-hand corner, there's a series of tabs. There's the products, the schedule, the picture sharing page, the Meet the Pro Team, and then the blog is the second. I think it's the second one from the right-hand side.
So how can I find out about the future program as mentioned? So if you're talking about the Facebook Live events, we do them typically every Sunday. If you're talking about our more in-depth, virtual tying classes that are going to be the pay to get into and not open to the general public, shoot us a message on Facebook and we will put your name on a list. And then when everything's up and going, we can contact you.
Probably one of the best ways to stay up on what we're doing, join the Facebook page, like the Facebook page that you're watching now, like our Instagram page, and on the Facebook page that you're on right now, there is a tab that says join our mailing list. Click on that, and that will put your email address into our mailing list, and anything that we do new, be it new products, new classes, or anything like that, one of those 3 mediums, you're going to get a notification about it.
Any tools or gadgets that another company makes that you'd suggest pair really well with the Vice or bobbins? Anything else? We use a lot of Dr. Slick products.
Yeah, I love these. It's a Dr. Slick product. It's called a finishing scissor. And what I like about them, I don't like putting my scissors down and picking them up and putting them down and picking them up. And I can't tie, although I do use fine point scissors, I can't tie with these in my hand. And I know guys that do. They just always seem to be in the way. So these, the way that they're shaped, they go on your ring finger. They they're buried in the palm of your hand. So when I'm tying, that's all you see is the tips of the scissors. But I can pick up my hackle pliers, I can pick up my whip finisher, I can pick up my bobbin, and I can tie, I can dub, I can do all the stuff that we normally do, and I never have to put them down. So I really like these. There is a company, French company called Stonefro, or Stonefro, or however you say it, Stonefro. They make a little tool, and I had like 2 or 3 of them, and I've lost all of them. It's a little push button tool. It looks almost like a hypodermic needle, and it's used for splitting your thread. So if you want to put CDC inside your thread, you put it on there and you push it, and it splits your thread open. And I have a pattern that we do CDC and dubbing in the thread and then wrap it as a collar, and that's a cool little gadget that I like. On the tube fly attachment, Pro Tube, I mentioned them last week or the week before. Their entire system is fantastic. Their tubes, their weights, their cones, they all integrate together. So those are 3 really, really good choices that we like. And of course, Semperfly, the threads, we love those. And then Nature Spirit tying materials are fantastic.
So what's the first year the Vice came out on the market from Jock Scott? He says he got his in the late 80s. The original patent was filed in 77.
Right.
So Jock's is aluminum with the wheel, that he says his isn't even numbered.
You have one of the first ones. That
right
style,
after the serial number.
that style, and I've seen the pictures that you put up on the March Madness. He incorporated in like 91 or 92. He was making vices. He had a little machine shop set up at his house. And he was making a handful of vices a year. I'm going to estimate less than 20. And then they just kind of took off. I started working with him in like 2004, 2005. And and that was kind of the point where he went from, a handful, and he was selling a lot of vices before I came on board. But we took it from, making one at a time to making hundreds at a time. And that's, my machining background has always been production. So I don't make one of anything. I make 100 or 1,000 or 10,000 of something. So, but yeah, Jock, yours is one of the original styles. So I would estimate your vice has got to be going on 30 years old.
We have people ask to see the vices since we have them all set up.
All right, we'll do that at the end. It's, as long as if there's any more questions, get them into me, and then we'll shoot pick the camera up and kind of do a pan around of the different vices.
We got how long have we been on? We've been on for a little over an hour.
Have we been on for okay? So, all right. Anything else, guys?
Appreciate the nice compliments. Good luck to the Final Four from Shannon. Yeah, Shannon, we appreciate the nice compliments on the podcast.
Yeah.
You guys it's an awesome podcast from Tux Fly Shop in North Carolina. A bunch of good Southern guys that I believe they went off into a moonshine NASCAR segment on the most recent one. It's a fun podcast to listen to.
It's called Tuckcast with a Splash of Bourbon. It's a good one. And Shannon, I was going to steal your 88 out the gate today, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I love that saying, but I couldn't do it. So
yeah, you had to go Carol Baskin instead.
Easy now. Nice. All right, guys. Anything else? All right, let's go ahead and show them the vices, and then we're going to sign off. So he's going to get you seasick now.
All right, so that's
Gen 1.
The Gen 1. It's got the steel instead of aluminum. It's absolutely gigantic. That's actually pre-Gen 1, before the modern style. Then here is Gen 2, which Jock has with the wheel.
Show him the bobbin. Show him the original bobbin.
There's fine point yaws.
Oh, it's over here. I'm sorry.
Oh.
It's in this other one. Yeah. It's in
this
that one right there, yeah.
There's the original bobbin with the plastic spool. We're up to the updated brass style.
Yeah, that's a Gen 3.
That's a Gen 3. And then there's one in between, but it's not too different from the one we've got going on right here.
Yeah.
We have a guy commenting that he has the pre-Gen 1.
Okay.
There's not many of those.
No, there's not. And that's one, if you have one of those, that is one that he probably made in his workshop out on the side of the house. Do you guys support European seller? We have two...
No, do we support the European seller on eBay that makes the vice stem extension? I'm not familiar with what you're talking about. Why don't you send us a link? And
yeah, I'm not familiar.
Not saying we do or don't support them, because we don't know what it is.
Anything else?
All right, at 8:08, we're in here for a little over an hour, so yep. I think that's pretty good. That's about it.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your Easter, and stay safe out there, and let's keep all of our military guys and girls and send them some positive thoughts. All right, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you next week.